I am Kgopolo, a husband of one and father of two. For years, my identity had been tied to what I do for a living until the year 2020 when everything fell apart. #COVID-19. Almost 5 years ago, I became a father for the first time, and I thought I was ready. Looking down at my son's chubby cheeks, my heart filled with pure joy and trepidation, seeing my exhausted wife on the bed after a water birth, I vowed to be the best father ever. It turns out, I wasn't entirely ready to be the best father ever. I had not prepared accordingly for the different stages in my life, career, marriage, and parenting. I have since lost my job, and therefore have chosen to be fully focused on what's important to me. I'm doing right by my vow, and I'm hoping to foster a community of fathers that share similar values. Welcome to the Timer's Playbook, a podcast series on fatherhood, proudly produced by 1730 Media. On today's episode, I've got Kgopolo Makgate, aka Kgops. Kgops originally hails from Pimville, S02. Now I've known this guy for a while, and family guy, straight up guy. We share the love for the sport of rugby. What interested me about our conversation was how deeply religious Kgopolo is. And I had no idea. Again, part of this podcast is to have these conversations and to learn from other fathers and to discover what grounds them and what helps them tick and how they get through this fatherhood thing. So here's the episode with Kgops. Please enjoy. Kgops, thank you for coming to the podcast, man.
Thanks
Appreciate
for
it.
having me,
Appreciate your time.
Thanks for having me.
How are you doing? How have you been?
Good, eh? Family is good. Kids are growing.
You guys have a new addition to the family now, ne? 6 weeks old.
What's the date?
Is it 7?
Tomorrow it's 2 months.
It's 2 months.
Yeah.
Wow. And
So-
how's that transition going? I mean, the other kid is
4.5.
4.5, ne?
Yeah.
How's it like, number one, having a newborn and just adjusting to this thing that you did about 5 years ago?
Look, in summary, it's joyful in the sense that obviously it's my son, so I want to speak to him about it. Kgosi has been a pleasure as a parent. He's a chilled baby, he's a chilled boy. Yes, he pushes his boundary, but he's good. He's like his father. He's quite content,
Okay.
Yeah.
So you think having, because you describe him as a calm child.
Yeah.
Do you think that sort of like gave you, from that, do you think that the second one would be the same, or you hope for the same thing?
You always get reminded. People make comments like, "Oh, your kid is good. Are you guys planning to have another one?" You're like, yeah. And I would make comments and say, I hope Utwana with the first one, because I mean, like I like to be. If you had to ask me one of my characters, I'm very relaxed.
So you said you've always wanted to be a dad, ne?
Oh yeah.
Was that a thing? Like, where does that come from?
Look, I come from a family of 2 kids. So I've got a younger sister with 6 years difference, and I grew up with a mom and a dad. So I've always enjoyed that, And you speak about kids being different. I'm sure kids will also talk about parents being different, So the relationship that I have with my dad and the relationship that I had with my mom, it's just joyful. And I've always wanted to have my own family. And I think the major thing is also because I'm a lover of God and Jesus Christ, the representation of a family is quite key to me.
Okay.
It plays a major role. So that's where it mostly comes from, that you need to go out there and multiply, and hopefully it happens with the partner that you love, with the woman that you love. So I'm blessed that it has happened with, it's a mother of my kids, which I truly love, which I want to spend the rest of my life
Yeah, you have to say that. But I can't.
Oh, I didn't know she was going to listen to
She
this.
is going to listen. They always listen. They will never listen to anything else I do, but they'll listen to their husbands. So tell me about home life then, now that you mention your parents. And so at home, the parents, were they always religious? Or is it something you picked up along the way?
Well, we are Anglican. You know, from my father's side, I grew up needing to go to church. I remember, you know, there were times I would come from Mojaivo and they forced me to go to church. And then obviously the older you became, they realized what I did this and I did the choice. But I've always been, I don't consider myself as a churchgoer. I've considered myself as a person with a relationship with their maker. Yeah. You know, so it's not a daily thing. Kgopolo every day. I would pray before I go purchase something. I would pray because I know that, you know, God is my provider. So that's their relationship with it. So, and that has improved. That with the life. Yes, the parents created that foundation of church, of being thankful, but it's just accelerated with the relationship, like I said, with my father.
So let's just explore that further. Ne? I'm not religious, but I have no doubt there's a lot of people that would listen and are religious.
Yeah.
Or of the Christian faith, for that matter, right? Or any other faith, it doesn't really matter. How does that ground you, you know, with everything that's happening? So how do you even begin to cultivate that relationship? Because I don't come from a family that was heavily religious in the beginning. How does one cultivate that relationship, you know? And when you say that it obviously assists you in life and in everything else, how does it actually work?
Look, it's very simple. For me, it starts when you open your eyes in the morning. You know, life is not guaranteed. We hear a passing of a person almost every week, almost every day. So that you are still alive. I mean, who created these beautiful trees? We talk about, oh, that's a beautiful view. Oh, that's a beautiful animal. Oh, that's a beautiful person, you know. Who created them? Or where do they come from? And there is a maker, right? And I believe my maker is God and Lord Jesus Christ. So where you ask where it starts there. Look around you. Trees were not created. It's funny, we can design cars, we can whatever, and give credit to humankind. But, and it's relevant to this conversation, but we can't create a human, right? Even though the things that we create, we can't even bring them to life. The robot cannot think by themselves. They cannot be independent. Yes, they improve, but it's what we've created, and what we've created, they're working in patterns.
Yeah.
Creating a child look at how you are different from your parents. You know, your parents, they even know that they did not create you. You know, we all know the process, but the reality is, through that process, I see it hormoto kimpo. You know, you get given a child. Yes, you have to do something in order to get there. But once you get it, it is your responsibility to khudisa. But you need help.
Yeah.
You know, we talk a lot about sport.
We're coming, of course. You can't leave sports.
I used to remember. I used to pray before I started the game. And there were so many moments, and I definitely know that you would relate, where you find yourself doing something, and it's just, there's so many people around you, but afterwards, you know, you do something and let's say you score, and you ask yourself, how did you do it? You know, then for me, it shows how there's a bigger God. And what it also helps, especially when you're challenged, many times I would say, when it's beyond me.
Yeah, I leave it to you.
I'm going to walk away because I know, and there's a thing that we don't talk about. Humans are emotional beings.
Yes.
We are very controlled by emotions.
Yeah.
So, and I know I'm an emotional being. So I minimize the time that I spend thinking about trouble. I remove it from myself.
Yeah.
And it has worked for me.
That's very interesting, man. So there's two interesting things that you're raising is that the idea of children is a gift, right? And so if something is a gift, then how do you treat it? How do you take it forward, right? You should treasure it, right? 100% because it's children, no doubt. And I guess the idea of surrender your problems to God. I'm learning to surrender my problems. I've never been able to surrender anything.
Do you know why, though?
Yeah. Why is that?
The reason why it's difficult to surrender is you've always felt like you've been in control.
Yes.
You've always thought that you've always worked hard, but working hard does not guarantee you anything. For example, there are people who work way harder than you. I'm not with you daily, but I can tell you fact there are those people who work way harder than you. I'll give an example. Laborers.
No, I agree with you. Yes.
How much do they earn?
Exactly.
Do you understand what I mean?
Yes.
So you are able to be dedicated to work hard as you are, but you get different opportunities. And those opportunities, it's not opportunities. I mean, we didn't grow up where our neighbor, our uncle, financially proper or for the opportunity to do. We find ourselves in a position, we get, I believe we get led to those positions.
Yeah. Where
those opportunities open up. So.
Okay. So you're saying it's the idea of control. I know now that, control is an illusion. Earlier we were talking about whatever's going on in life now, manage the things you can. It's not even control, right? Your body, for example, every day it's aging, right? Every things are going through their own natural processes, so you can't necessarily control it. You can manage it. You can eat better. You can exercise, but you're gonna get old. It's inevitable.
That's true.
So that's what I'm saying. I'm learning to do that. So just let it go. So my go-to thing is meditation.
Okay.
So I used to meditate a lot. But now I'm doing it frequently. And what I'm realizing, if I do it at the end of the day, just before I go to bed, I definitely feel calmer. I have less trouble in my head. In fact, no trouble at all, because the idea then is to just surrender, accept the day for what it is, and calm the mind and the spirit and the body, and just move on.
Let's change positions here. When you say surrender, I know you're the one who asks questions.
No problem.
When you say surrender, do you surrender or do you surrender your problems too?
Like I said, I'm Akiura Nakir. So I don't surrender to anybody. What I'm saying is, for example, with work, right? So when I lost my job, like when I got retrenched, it's very, very difficult to wrap your head around it, because the first thought, like you said, we are emotional. The emotion says, what am I going to do now? Your spani, kids, blah, 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 blah. So you run through all these things that have not even happened yet. And thereby, you already create a scenario in your head and your body physically, right? Because now you have these negative emotions and thoughts. That's how we even get sick. We can get sick just from thinking about it. So you put in your head the worst case scenario. My kids are going to starve. I saw it's the first day. You understand? So surrendering is saying, okay, I'm here now, right? Where is this leading me or taking me? So maybe let me lean into that. You understand? So the fact that you are no longer in formal employment, maybe it's time for you to try other things, or the things that you've always wanted to try, as opposed to focusing on the worst that could happen. But I don't knock the idea of religion because I've seen what it can do for people. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's important that in every aspect of your life, you have something that grounds it, that is a foundation for it. And spirituality, I think, well, religion for me is part of your spiritual fortitude.
Yeah.
And it is important for me that you have something, whatever that looks like. Okay. But if my children, for example, find religion, I have no issues with that. You know, they need to find their own way in life.
Yeah. Where they're going to find Okay.
Where they're going to find... look, Akira here talking about kids.
Yeah.
Obviously, I mean, there's things that you are responsible for these people. And we're here to also guide and to do... You know, you do need to lay foundations. You know, there's things they need to understand. Like manners. The idea of working hard. Not working hard isn't just working for the sake of working. You know, thought and critical thinking. And for example, you talked about managing emotions. I mean, that's a big thing, right?
That is huge.
Imagine if you can learn to, as far as you can, manage your emotions and be able to see every scenario objectively, right? I mean, that's a great skill to have. Yeah. So I want to touch into manhood. You and I both went to boys' schools.
Yeah.
And I've got my own things about boys' schools. So I always say our scenario is two-pronged. We went to a boys' school and then Huletilication.
Yes.
For me, those are the same scenarios, right? In the sense of how boys are brought up.
Yeah.
So my question is, having gone to a boys' school, what did you understand manhood to be like back then? And has it changed?
Just the way you ask it, it's look, it has, and we're talking about going to a boys' school. I think what they installed is respect, right? Respect and responsibility. So, and those things have not changed. I see how if a kid is respectful, irrespective how old they are. I mean, if right now you are respectful to your parents and the chomitza your parents, it's like you have a special spot for those, you know, not respect. I like to believe it, right? And I see it, you irrespective chomia papa it doesn't matter. It's an adult, right? And in the same high school, I remember, especially in standard 6, you were meant to stand up and even take off your, well, we didn't wear hats, that was primary, I guess. But you stand up when motomkhola fit.
Yeah.
You know, it's that respect. Even now, amotomkhola fit, like you would move, and there comes a time where you start asking yourself questions. Why am I moving amotomkhola into? I've got the energy, right? I've got my muscles are akinadi pain. You know, maybe I'm getting there in the next coming few years, but you know, so let motomkhola dule pele then into it. So those two key things for me are the foundations, and obviously it has improved as we talk about manhood in asohola, responsibilities obviously of your loved ones. You know, when we talk about responsibility, we're talking about protecting your loved ones. And protecting is not a physical thing. So protecting them from a particular life which you don't disagree with, you know, let's say from abusing, you know. And when you say your loved ones, I don't only look at just my kids and my wife. If your kids come to my house, it is our responsibility as, you know, bomalume, you know, boramkholo or whatever, to protect our kids. And that's why I battle in my mind where adults take advantage of kids because the kid sees you, you know, as motomkholo, and motomkholo are supposed to be protecting us. So why would you want to hurt or take advantage of the situation? Would you like if someone had to do that. I'm not talking about the trauma, whatever. But for me, that's it. So as adults, and guess what? I believe in disciplining my kids. Meaning, I give them smack.
Oh, you're hitting my children.
I will.
Jesus Christ.
And this is
Tessa.
okay.
I get that.
So
no, I understand that.
It has not happened, but it happened, I think, last year, where Kfitla Kontlung Khosu udlala one of the kids in a complex in Yarun. So a Kfitla bakamo they removed the covers, so it's destroying couch. So here I am getting there. I'm ticked off, right?
It's fucking spark.
I smacked Khosi. I smacked and this is how I did it. I smacked Khosi on his bums. I took a hand, because I realized even though I need to discipline her, it's the how. It was not my child at that point, and I didn't know the parents well enough to actually do that.
Okay. Hey, Chief, you raised some interesting things before people misconstrue. Because obviously, tabaya discipline is something that does come up.
Yes.
And there's different approaches and thoughts to it.
Yes.
And obviously, the law says that you can't hit people, especially children.
Well, I don't believe in that. But anyway,
yeah. And what I'm seeing now is discipline. Now that my kid is becoming 5, is becoming such a key thing. And some of the things that Ronar Hutsinkatsona, which was being smacked, Chikiwa, I'm not saying that's what you do all the time, but it's become so much more important for me to understand that they need to be disciplined. They need to understand certain things. Because I think for a long time, we were just nearly free for all. Yeah. Look, I could try to be liberal parents.
I'm sure when your parents but no, but
and I'm saying, as much as obviously there's good and bad to everything.
Yeah.
There's certain things that we can take from our upbringing.
Yeah.
And I'm super worried about discipline now. And I got about time where my kids are fearful of me. But I do want my children now to be able to learn life skills and to know, okay, I need to pick up my clothes after myself.
Yeah.
I need to wipe. It's a mess.
Yeah.
It's not mommy's job.
Yeah.
You need to have manners. You can't be shouting at your parents.
Imagine that mentality, but throughout life.
Yeah.
It will be done.
No, but remember, what I'm saying is I didn't think about it. Remember, I thought the idea, be liberal, and I didn't wrap my head around it until even my wife started saying to me, yo, Ndota, the big one especially, be the way thing sometimes. Because obviously, news.
Yeah.
But that's when you start teaching them then. Like, no, the tone is incorrect.
Yes.
Again.
Yes.
When you ask for things,
yes,
this is how you ask.
Yeah,
when you receive
give
it,
me.
Give me. I want.
Now, actually, before I went, going back to that story, disciplining the other child. Immediately, what I did, I took a photo of what happened, and I sent it to them.
The parents.
They said and I told them, I just met your child, because the other thing is that kids are kids.
Yeah,
they're very manipulative.
Yes,
it was not I was not thinking of to protect myself there because I didn't feel bad of what I did. I'd actually do it again. I'd actually do it with your kids, but there's a particular way of doing things. Discipline for me, you have to remove the anger. Sorry, anyway, let me finish the story.
Yeah.
I sent a message to them and I said, this is what I did. And this is how because I didn't know Khorba and only to find out months later, but because I informed them and how I did it, they didn't have a problem with it.
Yeah.
Do you understand? So disciplining Raska, don't slap my child because I'm a male. I know sometimes I'm a male, but if you slap him, that's it's
abuse. Because abuse again.
And it is borderline.
Yeah.
Kids are kids. So yeah, so I just I always reflect.
And then were you hit as a kid?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And how did that make you feel when you were a kid? How sharp you?
It was. I smack it. I didn't get a smack.
No, not sharp you.
Exactly. I remember the last time my mom gave me a smack.
Yeah.
During that process, she realized, well, I can't give this guy a smack anymore.
Oh, were you older now?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
How my dad stopped, I think it was but it was not physical, as in got face. Funny enough, my dad has never been he's never been physical.
Yeah.
But he realized after because there were marks there.
Ish.
And I think that was the last time, Anshai, how it made me feel. Look, it's not about how I felt. It's how it channeled me.
Yeah.
That's how I believe. Because right now, that respect, I believe one of the things is that and actually no, consequences, cause and consequences. If there's, and I think that's all of the fundamentals about discipline. If there are no repercussions of what you're doing, you're going to continue doing what you want.
Yeah.
You're going to go out there and hurt people. You're going to go out there and destroy people's lives, and you don't know consequences.
Yeah.
You know, so even then, it gets about, hey, Anka, it's a so.
Yeah.
Go sharp you.
So you're taking the headline on, and as in life, you're gonna get fucked up sometimes. You know, don't talk. Step up to the wrong brew.
No, look, at the same time, discipline for me, like as much as I don't hit my kid all the time, even though I know I don't have to smack him, I remind him,
yeah,
you know?
yeah. And now they know.
Yeah, they know.
Yeah.
The other discipline, this might sound cruel, but so go Rumunya Khos, he windowsill, Nantai Sharp.
Yeah.
Nantai Sharp, I think one of his friends now did. But Sharp actually removed the cement. Right? I got there, I'm like, I got there and I got out. I'm like, you know what? I took his favorite toy, which is a horse. I cut it off.
I didn't know that's where you're going.
But
who cut it?
no, it's
Was it a real toy?
No, it was a horse, a real toy.
Yeah, white cat.
Guy cat. Gotta listen. And I was talking to him throughout the whole process.
Yeah.
Hore, you destroyed my stuff. How does it feel that I've destroyed your stuff? This is how I'm feeling at the moment. It's something I wouldn't do again.
Yeah.
Because it's quicker for it to be lost in the process. Hore, Aksa Dumalil, and which my wife reminded me as well. Hore, he will find it easy to cut up stuff. You know, because I saw Daddy doing it several times.
Yeah, that would be his way of dealing with it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I did that once, and destroying things is not. And sometimes right now, because that happened, if with a young child, and I asked him, would you like me to do that to you? Understand? We need to understand if you do something to someone, consider if it gets done to you, will you like it?
Yeah.
So that was,
Okay. So I'm trying to talk to them more like a normal person.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I shout a lot. Yeah, and these things become automatic. Sometimes you don't even realize that my mode of communication is just shouting. Yeah, so I'm becoming more weary of that, of talking through it and raising my voice at the right time, so they know that they are wrong. Not it's your default thing, And that leads me back to that discipline. Koskela, I hated being disciplined by matrics or other students.
Oh yeah.
Because for
those are still your peers.
Yeah, they're peers, and they abused it, and then they hit you with anything. Like I've been in so many fights in my life, but if Nikiako housemaster or whomever,
you took it.
I took it because I had generally done something wrong, and Libona, it was cool, guys. The discussion. for this punishment, maybe it's 2 lashes or 6.
Yeah.
You know, if you jump, I was at boarding school.
Yeah.
If you jumpile, or maybe one of the guys was found at Uba Koko scared, or some, you know, the severity of it. Like you're going, okay, we're gonna get 6 here. This is a big one. Yabo? And then nebaitang bao sharper, and it's done.
And it's over.
That's your punishment.
Yeah.
For, like you're saying, consequences. And then we move on. Yabo? But with the boys, sometimes it doesn't mean that you've done something wrong. It could have been that I looked at him wrong. Yeah. But the punishment doesn't always fit the crime. Like punching me anywhere that you see fit because you are twice my size. That's not fair.
And you don't move on because the very same person who just gave a punch would go to his peers. And it happens with like high school, we all immature, right? Even the one would say, you are mature, you are matric. You are not really matured, right?
You were also a kid.
Exactly.
For all children.
Exactly. So they punched you, and then ojitari chomzai.
Yeah.
And sometimes it gives the liberty to the chomizachach.
Yeah.
So that's why they would punch you because because he wanted to get a turn.
Yeah. Kanti. Little did they know. Let me ask you something. I'm talking about education. And this has just become a theme in the podcast, right? What, especially high school, have you guys discussed like what how do you guys see it? Is it because the discussion was
my son is going to Kgopolo.
No discussions there.
No, well, there are discussions, believe it or not.
Yeah.
So if my son decides to play sports, and this has happened I think to me the past probably 6 months, less than a year. If my son is very good in sports, I work soccer.
Yeah.
Soccer, the academy South Africa actually have, Nyatseba School of Excellence.
Yeah.
What happened to it?
I don't know.
Exactly.
Last time I was there. Yeah.
Right? I'm willing, because if you look at, sometimes we want to do things differently, but the pattern is always the same of certain things. Most of the players who play in South Africa, in Africa who are playing overseas, it's either they were born in Europe or they left home at the age of 12.
Yeah.
Ronaldo, same thing. Messi, same thing. Most soccer players. So
there's a path. There's a DNA that's already been established.
Exactly.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So I'm actually willing, and I've come to grasp as Gicho for only recently. You know how we are passionate about boys' schools. If my kid loves rugby, if he knows what's good for him, he better.
He better, ne?
I was actually willing, and I thought about it because my wife has family go in Cape Town. I never thought this, but if Barachona Akaya Kgopolo, okay,
yeah,
you understand? That's what I mean.
I totally understand.
It's okay, but previously it was a conversation of Gooks. You can do whatever. You can choose those creche and the primary school.
High school is mine.
High school is mine.
Yeah.
Why are you not going to Saints? Saints
Yeah. And I think...
And sorry, but what I don't want to fall into is that's talking about boys.
Yeah.
I've got a girl.
Yes.
Same concept.
It's unfortunate you don't have a Kes girl school.
Well, one of the schools that I really like is Rodin.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a... You're right.
Saint
it's not
Business is okay. It's got a girl school. We send them on.
I was talking about Rodin.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, look.
Very good school.
Yeah. Rodin, Saints Girls, St. Mary's.
So you discussed the single sex thing as in like...
no, my school, kids are going to go... High school geek is single sex.
Oh, why is that?
It gives a different discipline. The schools, let's look around. Yeah, let me say this. We look around, schools that are single sex are more disciplined. But it doesn't make you, it doesn't guarantee you anything in life.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong.
Yes.
So it doesn't mean if you went to,
let's say private school, single sex private school.
So going to a single sex private school, going to single sex school, or going to a school in the township does not guarantee you a particular life, meaning that you are guaranteed success.
Yeah.
Success is dependent on, I'm a believer, so what God delivers, but at the same time, the effort that you put, right? You can be put in certain situations. If you cannot utilize the opportunities in front of you, then we won't be successful.
Yeah. So if that's the case, then why do we send our kids to these schools then?
To prepare them.
Okay.
To prepare them and the reality is there's a particular life we want to live. You and I, we talk the same language, and luckily it has happened.
Yeah.
That most of imagine meeting a guy, Otwang Atsukasi, he's not into sports, and they're not family orientated.
Yeah, like eliminating
No. It was three things. There's more to life than there's rural, there's politics.
Yeah.
There's.
But I'm saying the value system still remains, right?
You
can be from wherever.
Yeah. I believe in this particular life,
yes.
and I don't talk down on other things.
Yes.
And that's why I like when you in a boardroom and Motukeni because of hard work, not because they were alumni of a particular thing. Yeah. That gives me joy because it also helps people bakokasi who cannot afford to take their kids to, and I won't say good schools, but these schools, which are perceived into an. And the other thing we don't talk about, you take your kids to Saints where they start meeting kids where their parents talk about overseas, it becomes easier for you to go overseas.
Yeah.
How difficult it is for Motoko Makgate to come to Joburg.
Yeah.
We've seen it. Let alone go overseas. Exactly. So and here's the answer to your question. Why do we do it? Is to give them exposure to a particular life.
And every opportunity that you can. I think that's your responsibility, right?
Your other responsibility as a parent is always, kids should always be kids.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest gift you can give a child.
I agree with that. No, I'm cool. So I'm with you there. And this is what we've also discussed, using the analogy of sports. If in Musiaka, for example, we discover at some point that one of them is into rugby, I definitely know the big one, the small one might be.
Or rough.
Rough. I'm with you. I'm more than happy to send them to an African school. If that's the...
Did you think like that?
That's the part. No,
10 years ago?
No, of course
it's
not.
Weird, eh?
It's weird, right?
Afrikaans. Yeah. But now, I think as well, you see even the approach of... it's not inclusion, not transformation, but inclusion.
Yeah, they're becoming a lot more inclusive. But in the same breath, then, these, like you mentioned, PAL, I think one of them is a PAL Gym or PAL Rose, is a lot more blended. I mean, I've even seen some black kids go Afis.
Yeah. It's different from where we were.
Yeah, but also it's the question of if the kid if you want something in life, what's the price you're willing to pay? For example, if my son is a rugby guy, if he was a rugby guy today, I'd never send him to St. Stadiums because it's not a rugby school.
Yes.
Right?
True.
As much as I am connected to it, it isn't a rugby school.
True.
I have a better chance with Cares, even JP at the moment, right? Or maybe going to the Midlands somewhere.
What about
Pakistan?
Maybe what about...
Definitely not. So yes, I agree with you. Depending on if we see it early, I'm prepared to make that sacrifice and say this is where you're gonna go. And it could be the arts, it could be whatever it is, Cool. We're gonna close off now with legacy. There's a couple of things that you had said. Remember, in terms of the things and tips and tools that you've learned so far in life. You said, in your current life, you choose to be a joker or a queen.
Yes.
What do you mean by that?
Every day we have choices. I'm a firm believer. So, so many things that's come to mind. So every day you face things. So how we started earlier on when you spoke about religion. For example, you've chosen to maintain things, not to control things. It's a choice.
Okay.
So if you choose to be an entertainer, it's a choice, right? even reacting to certain things, even though we might not admit it. You were saying as well, Jorge, shouting. You choosing to do things differently. I chose Lina discipline Jose differently. Now discipline happens with also talking. So every life we face with choice. For example, you could be today I guess fine. It's okay. But if that happens a lot, don't expect the results for you to be successful or to achieve Kgopolo. So it's good to take time out, and that's one of the things I wanted to mention. Sometimes I find it that I'm much better if I take time out.
Yeah.
Even from my kids, I come back loving them more because you actually get time to reflect.
That's why I send them to school. I have so much time to reflect.
And they come back, you're happy to see them.
Yeah.
You know? So, yeah, that's what I mean. It's choices. We took Kokasi, there are those who want the when they say finer things in life, to buy bottles, right? There are those in the same area, like, I'm not going to spend my money on bottles, I want to travel, right? There are those who say, Jorge, I'm not going to travel, I'm not going to buy alcohol, but I'm going to support my family.
Yeah.
Do you understand? So you choose. And those who are seen, Baba Rakandi bottle can be seen as kings, but sometimes can be seen as jokers at the same time. Those who support the family from outside are seen as jokers because no jive, I'll pose.
Exactly.
But their families are comfortable.
That's dope. I like that, man. So basically sort out your value system and make your own choices.
And don't make choices to impress others.
Yeah.
There's a difference between loving people and impressing people. So if you come to my house and let's say, for example, there's a break, Eric gets a fillet today. It's not to impress. Personally, I'm not impressing you. I'm just sharing because I care, or I at that
I understand.
time. You understand what I mean? Yeah. But if I had to go all the way, and I was not new.
It's like saying if I were to come to your house and suddenly so lady Moe, lady what, I'd be like, that's weird. But if there was a good bottle of whiskey,
let's say, for example, when I came to champagne. Right, I came out to the champagne, but I get this. Now I'm here to but
yeah. No, I understand that notion. Cool. Sacrifice is always demanded.
Yeah. There's nothing for Mahala, Baba. You have to give up something. No, it's true, man. I mean, we analogy your sports. How many times do you hear sports guys say they've sacrificed? And what celebrities, I know a few celebrities in my life like Tsepo.
Yeah.
So, but it's how the sacrifice they do, they become famous balabanyani and they get dropped from that life. It's a sacrifice.
Yeah.
Right? And parents who are working hard, they don't spend time as much time with their kids. They sacrifice, corporate can be very demanding. So sacrifice is into relationships, yes, compromise, but sometimes it borders with sacrifice. For example, you will sacrifice not going out or going on a boys' trip to take your woman on holiday. Yeah. It's a sacrifice. So I'm a believer, and sacrifice can be seen as give.
Yeah.
Giver. You must be a giver.
In service of.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think that's the actual word to say.
Cool. And I think you've said this, so this is dope, man. The biggest gift you can give a child is to allow them to be a child. I like that. I like that.
For me, I think
let them be.
Let them be.
Yeah.
Yes, and when we say let them be, not let them be anything.
Yes.
But let them be. Let them play. I mean, and by you giving them chores, by you disciplining them, it's actually still letting them be in a particular way. Because once it's It's open field, you know. And I would like us maybe one day to talk about this. Remember the kids then kokasi. I mean, even in high school where they had everything.
Yeah.
Their parents allowed them to do everything. Look at them now. You know, some of them are the very same ones, but we
thought they had it.
And they didn't have the discipline that we had.
Yeah.
So most black people, when they talk, no, let me rephrase. There are a lot of black people who did not have the opportunity to grow up with their parents.
Yes.
And that is life. But for those who have, let's share it because we want to be those parents. So let's not just focus on those who didn't. What about those who did? Because it influenced those who want to be. Right. So my dad was quite strict. was quite strict. And we talk about different characters. There's so many times I had to go through my mom in order to get my dad through my dad. My dad learned how to sports. So sports, he would support me. He was very disappointed when I left soccer and went to rugby. He was very disappointed because vets, and I made vets, and then I cannot rugby. You know, and so he used to take me there. He used to work hard, and I'll tell you, then that's how I refer to him now. You know, another part when it comes to corporate work, you know, but he still hustles today. You know, he's a hard worker. He might not have, ranked in corporate, but he has done very well for a person who can go corporate. He's sold this, he's sold that. He's able to take us to the schools that we talk about, you know. And today,
yeah,
Mfetu or Pile Bodon, Mfetu go Pile 6. You know, we'd chill, would drink. His mates would come through. They would come through and make a few comments. I always say, you always have that respect. But right now, he's
yeah,
right. And how is he to my son, to my children, his grandchildren, you can see how he wants to be, but it's difficult for him to be, in a sense that he wants to be involved. He sees himself as ntatemkholo ole o tlonkang bana go olata bana ko crash or ko skolo, but a khone because ntatemkholo wa gagwe or papa gagwe didn't do that.
Yeah.
So the idea is there in his mind.
So you're saying, but when you growing up, was he doing those things for you guys?
Yeah.
But do you think it was that was just out of duty, obviously, because you are his children? Yes. But now these are his children, so it's not as a duty per se, but it would be nice.
He loves his kids. I mean, only the first uniform here. I mean, Serbuleko Primary School. The first uniform ko grade, not. He wants to buy it.
That's why
it was 0-0. But he wants to buy it.
Okay.
You know, bicycle. You know, but you can see that he wants to do more. But comfort here, and you understand, he's built a particular life for him, for himself. During the week, around. It's.
Yeah, and our parents, they don't know how. Sometimes they should ask.
Yes. And I give a penny plus, grandchild. The biggest thing I do, but give a penny plus. Don't say that to them; they'll feel offended.
Oh, is the issue.
And then it's funny, but once they're there, they love it.
Yeah,
you know, it's that transition of
okay.
But I think my mom, if she was around, she would have been completely different.
Yeah, ne? Yeah, because mothers are like that.
Yeah.
So you're saying then that you come from a structure where both parents were there.
Yeah.
Both parents were involved, and this is a story that you think we should be hearing more of.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I'm with you there also, you know, because a lot of us, it's very easy for it's very easy for us to push narrative, a single mom and what. There are stories out there.
And even that narrative, it's good because there are good stories that come out of it. There are bad stories that come out of it. But the good stories as well that comes from where a mother and a father were present, and also bad stories. So as much as they say, and it's a cliche that your past does not determine your future. It's a reality. But I just feel that we need to talk about, because we right now, right here, and one of the reasons why you want to do this, you want to share. Let me say, all the people that you speak to have the desire to be present in the children's life. So if those who didn't experience that cannot hear from those who have experienced it, then point of reference, guy.
Yeah. No, okay. Thank you so much to Kgopolo for coming through on this week's episode. I really appreciate his time and his insights. Be sure to subscribe, like, and share this podcast. It can be found on any audio streaming service across the world. Thank you so much for your time, and thank you so much for tuning in. See you on the next episode. Sharp.